Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Zach and I are doing a discussion over The Hunt, a game about submarine warfare.
World War II submarine warfare of supply ships.
Yep, pretty much. That is the game where one person plays as the Germans, the other person plays as the British. German has hidden movement, and it's a cat and mouse style game. Seems to be heavily inspired by Watergate.
Yeah.
And whereas Watergate succeeds on every level, I feel that this game fails in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing about this game for me. I'd actually like it a lot more if it wasn't basically 100% random on how well one side did versus the other.
Yeah.
And I remember watching a review over this game because I was like, I mean, it's super cheap. It's like, I think it was like $30 or something.
Right.
Production value's good, art's good, components are good, except you have to provide your own paper. God, can't even provide paper to its players.
Right.
And I knew, because at this point, I've been in this hobby long enough that I can kind of hear a game and listen and be like, I'm probably not going to like that. But maybe not. You know,
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Maybe the die won't be that big of an issue. Nope, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Barely any... It's roll to resolve.
Right. And here's my other thing. So, again, with roll and resolve, there's some things that are good with that.
Yeah.
Number one, if you're going to do roll and resolve, please send a good die.
Yeah.
Don't do cheap dice. Do a die that actually is weighted correctly. Mm-hmm. Because we rolled that die a lot of times and definitely did not hit 33% success rates.
No, it was like ones and twos basically the entire time.
Right. Which just means your die is weighted incorrectly. It's just, and again, it feels light.
Yeah. It feels like an afterthought. Like because the actual cat and mouse, like movement and trying to maneuver and bluff and all that, that's good.
Right.
Like, I didn't mind that. It went on way too long to where it was like, okay, this is kind of, I'm over it.
Right.
But the card play was kind of a nice tug of war of, you know, when to use your action points, when do you want to use the event, when do you want to blow through them for the removed cards. That's all completely from Watergate, and I like that decision making. It's like, man, this card is a 5. That's really, really good. I mean, I used 2 5 cards right out the gate.
Right.
It's like, but those are gone, and it makes it harder for me to get my mitigation back. I guess we only have 1 plane in the entire World War II German fleet.
And to me, that's some of the things, like, searching, like, as the British player searching, it's stupidly hard. Like, realistically, I came to the conclusion that they told you it's hard to escort your ships. I came to the conclusion that's the only way I'm ever going to find you.
Yeah,
I have to wait for a ship of mine to get sunk, and then hope that you don't move far enough out, or I can find you close enough to make it count.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, the result of searching is the same for both. It's 5 or higher, which is fucking dumb.
Yep.
Like, if you're gonna at least do it, make it 50-50, 4, 5, or 6, when you're rolling 1 die.
Yep.
Because even then, with the very limited use of the +2 from the airplane, which also the rules don't say whether you have to use that before or after your roll.
Right.
It's like if it's 4, 5, or 6, that increases my odds and actually makes me think about wanting to spend my plane or not. But because it's 5 or 6, I have to still roll higher to even make my mitigation beneficial. And it's just so frustrating because it's like, what's also dumb about the rules is like you have to like surface. I guess it might not even be submarines. I don't think it is actually. I think it is just regular ships. It feels like it would be submarines, but I don't think it is.
You sure? Because otherwise, you can see mine and I can't see yours. So
I really don't think it's a submarine. I don't think anywhere in here it says submarine.
I think that's the implication because again, German U-boats sinking frigates while British naval forces, because mine aren't even labeled as forces.
That's true.
Yours is an individual ship. Like, yours is 2 individual ships.
Yeah.
Because you have a supply ship.
I mean, because the art on it is just a regular ship.
It is just a regular ship.
So it could just be art, but I'm pretty sure it's not a submarine. Anyway, that's beside the point. Oh yeah, so whenever you search, or at least especially when I search, I have to show my location.
Right.
Because, and that's, okay, I'm searching, here I am, now let's hope I succeed.
Right.
Boo. Okay, all the advantage is on you, and I guess I'm fucking hosed.
Right.
Because I think what they did is they're like, oh, hidden movement is so beneficial, we have to compensate for that. Instead of making a balanced game, they had to be like, okay, well, the British player doesn't know where the German player is, and it's easy for them to run away. Yeah, I mean, theoretically, because I can start wherever, I can go wherever, but I only win by sinking your ships or getting lucky enough in battle.
Right.
So, for me to always basically declare where I'm at, I find the die extremely frustrating.
Yep.
And the fact that I basically always have to just sound an air horn when I try to do anything. On top of the fact that you have cards, I mean, I have the same card. Storm at Sea prevents you from searching.
Right.
Like we
a
both
lot of
have,
our cards were the same.
They really are. Like, it's basically kind of like the remove from game. There's a few that are different.
Right. So, like I have one that hurts your plane.
Yeah.
But realistically, the vast majority of the cards were identical.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I'm going to have some, like, so new convoy routes puts your reserve to 0.
Yeah.
And so, again, there's some things that are a little bit
I have
different.
cards that move your freight ships.
Right.
So they can come to me.
And I have ones that move freight ships as well. But, I mean, another thing is, it's fairly expensive for me to get more forces out. I just so happened to draw one of the very first ones that basically moved it, and then I could spend the 2 AP for it to get it out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty decent. But there's multiple times where, because you could hide in essence and wait, you could boost up your AP for later on.
Right.
There's no way for me to do that. I have one card that allowed me to do it one time, a 1.
Right. It's not really the card play that is my issue. I actually kind of like it. Kind of like the idea of like Storm at Sea being very annoying whenever it's like, because the German player has hidden movement, and again, I feel like that was their crux on only giving them the benefit. Because the Storm at Sea, it's like, okay, no one gets to search. All right, well, the British player still benefits from that way more. Because they just have their freights they get to now freely move.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, I can't even search for them. I guess I'll just do nothing. Theoretically, yeah, I could just be like, okay, I'll repair my ship. Or I'll attempt to. It's the fucking... Or not repair my ship, repair my plane. That's not even a guarantee. It's not even... Like, they should have just an exponential AP cost. Like, instead of it being like, they fucking die, man. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's just like, it's a die roll. Like, if I have one removed card, and I go to repair my ship spinning, I could roll a 1, and it's now gone for the game.
Right.
Like, because it has to be greater than the number of removed cards. It's like, why not just make it to where it costs more AP, so I have more... It's like, do I want to spend this 5?
Right.
And use 5 just to repair my plane?
Right.
It's like, probably not, but at least give them the choice versus like well, that's literally impossible.
Right.
My die mitigation is out. Whereas you don't ever lose that.
No.
Like, all your cards have ways to put hint markers or increase your searches, where it's like, guess we just have one plane. No wonder we're losing the war, apparently.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the hint markers.
They're almost in every single hidden movement game, though. But in this case, like, in Letters from Whitechapel, they are expensive. And in Letters from Whitechapel, it's like, I have to put them in places I've been. Right. So you can get a trail versus here. I mean, I get you can't do that, it's water. Right. But here it's like, it does you no good when I can just be like, oh, adjacent to me?
But even that's free. So like in Whitechapel, that's a free thing. You either arrest in one spot or you search everywhere that you're touching.
That's true. You're right.
And so that's where my search was like kind of rough. It's like, that's why I didn't search all that often. Because I had you put out a couple, but then it's like, but you can now be in one of 7 spots.
Right.
It didn't tell me anything. I knew you were close to there. That's why I
Right.
had you put one out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, whenever it's like, oh, it doesn't have to be where I'm at, or it doesn't have to be like off my sheet
It
where
has
I've
to be
been.
adjacent to where you are, or where you are, or where you. So just
Yeah.
where you are or adjacent. So literally, unless you're on an edge, it's 7 possible
Which
spots.
I did happen to be in that one case, but yes.
Right.
Yeah, if I'm in the middle of the ocean, and I get it. Some of the decisions that we're complaining about are thematic.
Right.
Like, where has this ship been? In the water. Let's check the water. That's right. We can't track.
But kind of to the whole increased AP cost. So like, I get 1 AP to search that one spot to see
Yeah.
more. Give me 3 AP to search an adjacent spot, so I don't have to move there. I can start making choices.
Yeah, I think the reason why they did that was because the game ends in 3 ways, basically. There's a 4th, but it's like you have to basically play the card that lets you...
I mean, we both had it.
We
in
both
the
had to see the
fine.
other person's hand, and then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, you have it, so we're not using it.
Right.
I'm not using it at the end.
Right. I did.
Well, yeah, but there was no
There's no
point.
reason for
like,
it.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
like, why... I can't even think of a reason why the German player is on worse ground than the...
Because if we tied in the 2 fights, you would get to remove 2 of your damage markers, thus winning the fight.
That's assuming... No, even in this case, like, I guess... No, you're right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, so you would win the fight, but that would be the only reason, is to do it.
Right.
Is
Well,
to
I'm
do
talking
that
about,
trick play
like,
at the end.
Not that card specifically. I'm talking about why do like ties go to you. Why it even says, hey, by the way, the British player has a huge advantage in battle. It's like, but why? I'm amazed they didn't do combat. It's just roll a die 5 times, see who rolls higher. Yeah. you really could.
Yeah.
I
don't know. It was fine.
It's like they were on the right path, but they're like, well, this is too much like Watergate. Randomness. People love randomness in their asymmetric 1v1 games. You know how to tell who's better than the other player? Not through skill or strategy, die rolling. See, the real crux of it was it's my wrist technique.
Got it.
Years of masturbating just really has honed in my die rolling skills to where this is going to be a 4 right here.
So I'm trying
It
to
wasn't,
decide
damn it.
if the die is actually square.
It's probably gets lopsided. I actually opened this and I melted it on one side,
Got it.
so only I knew the weight and balance of how
Right.
it was going to roll. I will say, I mean, the game wasn't like lopsided.
No.
Like each time it was close on ships. But here's the thing: it even says in the rules that it's like, hey, by the way, it's very unlikely, like for the British player to win with getting 5 freight ships. In theory, yeah. All I do is search, roll a 3 or higher if I get my plane, and then I sink it. That's
Yep.
it. You have to find me, successfully search, and then win the battle.
Right.
But that if I roll 1, 2, or 3, or 4 without having my plane, I don't sink anything.
Right.
I don't do anything. So theoretically, your ships can just march on. You play cards to boost their movement. They keep marching on. I keep trying to trail them, announcing my location. Hey, we're here. All right, by the way, trying to sink this ship. 1.
Right.
Okay, I got away. 1. Got away. Like, the whole game not saying that it will be like that, but the fact that it can is such a bad design.
Yeah.
Like, because the search is also once per turn.
Yep.
So it's not like I can bank a bunch of reserve AP,
searching.
spend a 5, or a 4, and then spend that 2, so I have 6 AP and try and search 3 times.
Right.
Like, I can't, or let's say you had 2 freights that were near each other, which probably wouldn't happen just by, because
No, there were a lot that were coming from the same spot. They almost all go to GB. So, I mean, I have 2 essays to GB. You have...
Well, in that case, yeah, I guess I was thinking of if they were different locations trying to...
Right, because it's random. You pull them.
Yeah.
We had 2 that were coming from AR that literally were stacked
Yeah.
one after the other one.
Yeah, so it's like, in that case, I can't, like, search, succeed,
Right.
move, and
Search,
search and
succeed.
succeed again.
Right.
To try and catch up.
I mean, the only reason I sunk you is because I can search with each of my per force.
Yeah.
So I stack 2 ships on top of each other, searched with the one, you canceled it, searched with the second one, and succeeded.
And happen to succeed, yeah.
Right.
Because otherwise, it's like, oh, that was your turn. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say the second search, you failed. Oh, I have a 5. Boom.
Yep.
And then I move over, and then if I succeed, we win.
Yeah.
I don't find that satisfying
Nope.
head-to-head. It's, well, let's hope the die... Like, the entire game, the die was not in your favor, and at the very end it did, and you won because battle is lopsided for 0 reason. And I'm not taking historical context into this. Like, I like the fact that every single card, from the German cards and the British cards, have history in them. That's cool. Watergate did the exact same thing. That's neat. I'm not a history buff. I don't give a shit about that.
I don't need it in my board game.
I mean, yeah, not if it's going to affect the gameplay mechanisms. If the
Right.
British forces were stronger than the German...
It's why Axis and Allies is a bad game.
oh, because you have to basically follow how World War II went?
Right.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
It was designed that way. Like, they literally made the game to follow World War II. So,
Right.
all you have to do as the Allies is wait for America. America
Yeah.
is such a powerhouse, but they take a long time to get there.
Yeah.
But eventually,
Yeah, you have to, like, do the Japan Pearl Harbor thing, like, at the
Right.
right time. Yeah, I've heard that exact same thing, and it's just like...
and the Germans have to attack Russia at the right time. Otherwise, there's no way for the Axis to win because Russia should just build up so much infantry. They'll outpace Germany's production. And so, but you have to kill them to be able to take out Great Britain as the Germans. And realistically, Japan is just trying to slow down America for the Germans to win the game.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I've heard the exact same thing, and Memoir 44 has that same element of,
Yeah.
like, well, this battle leaned more in whoever's favor, so they're more powerful in
But
this.
they at least come out and say that. Like, it's not a hidden thing.
No, I know, but it's like, for me, when it's grounded in actual real-life history, It's like, well, you know what, I'll just spend, 5 minutes reading the history Wikipedia article and say I played this game.
Right. I mean, for Memoir, I have less of a problem because they actively say that. And once you actually put a couple expansions, it changes that.
Gotcha.
Because I have, like, the airplane expansion with it, and it completely ruins the balance of the original fight, where it's
Gotcha.
going to go. And so then it really does become a true head-to-head game.
Gotcha. I have other issues with Memoir 44, but
Right.
but
yeah.
the thing is, like, if this is designed with this history in mind, that's cool, and history buffs will like that. I just don't see the point, especially because it's like, this game is like roughly around an hour if both players are playing right, and it doesn't warrant that.
No.
The hidden movement gets stale. The die, like, I would not care about the die as much in a 30-minute game. Because
Yeah.
it's 30 minutes. Like, randomness, there's a tolerance level. Some people love it. Some people love randomness their entire time. I, like, Madara is that's like a example game I've been given a lot lately for randomness. It's like, I can be really into the theme and the story for a bit, but then eventually it's like, I just start getting more and more annoyed when die rolling is just bad. And it's like, I can't be thematic. It's D&D. If I was
Right.
rolling shit all night, it's like, I can't roleplay anymore because I'm fucking not doing anything.
Right.
This does that same thing, and just, if you're looking for a good kind of tug-of-war head-to-head game, get Watergate. If you're wanting history, that one is just superior in every way, because there's no randomness like a die roll. I mean, there's obviously randomness in the cards you draw, and
Right.
that's like predetermined randomness. You draw your cards, and you're like, this is what I have to work with. So now I can strategize. Versus, okay, I'm going to do this, and now I hope like a third party
Yep.
helps me succeed. Same reason why War of the Ring doesn't frustrate me at all. It's not like, because you roll your dice
Right.
and you're like, now what can I do? I was hoping for a movement, I didn't get it. What can
Right.
I do now? This
Yeah.
would be like, boy, I sure hope I can move.
And that's the thing. Whenever I look at, to me, I always go back to head-on-head games to War of the Rings. So War of the Rings, I always think of what strategy could I do next time to better play the game.
Right.
Like, should I have moved the armies of the elves out farther, or should I have gone the dwarves into the fight earlier?
Right.
This game, I don't know that I could do anything better or worse. I mean, I almost got all my ships in. That was my goal. It just so happened that we were down to the last ship. I knew exactly where you were. It was close enough for both my ships to get to you.
Yep.
And it's like,
yeah,
fuck it, let's do it.
And also, because again, I have to announce myself before I succeed. Like, there's a couple things that they could do to fix this game. I mean, rules tweaks, at least in terms of searching, is if you succeed, then they know where you're at.
Yeah.
Because if I shot a missile at a ship and I fucking whiffed, no one knows anything. I'm like, damn it, I missed. Like, if I was on Space 17 trying to sink that and I roll a 1, it's like...
So I think the problem, though, gets into, like, these reaction cards, because how do I know if I had this... Because we had, sometimes there were 3 ships out, but I only was guarding one of them. How do I know which one you guarded? Because mine is just...
You're talking about, like, the reaction...
Yeah,
oh, I see.
It's the minute you search. Whether you whiffed or not, I get to do it.
That's true.
And so, without that knowledge, you'd have at least 3 of the cards, and again, 3 ways for me to stop it. Because I will say, that's where I start. That's one of the reasons why I started trying to get these ships in. Is I had 2 of those cards for a while, and I was like, I'm just going to sit around and wait
and
for
just
this.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah, try it.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing with your... I had cards that canceled your successful searches. I was just holding on to those.
Yep.
I actually don't mind the one thing that differentiates the both players is the British force always has 5 cards and the German player has 3. I actually don't mind that. I thought that was pretty fair, because if I always had 5 cards as well, on top of the fact that I can lie about my movement, that'd be a little much. I like that bluffing part, where it's like, okay, I just tell you, hey, I'm spending 4 to move up to 3 spaces.
Right.
Don't have to move 3, don't have to move at all.
Yep.
I could be near my alt mark and be like, okay, I'm drawing 3, even though I could draw 5.
Right.
So I like the bluffing aspect. There are elements of this game I do like, but the things I don't like, I really don't like.
Yeah.
So it kind of just makes me not like the game as a whole.
There's just better head-to-head games.
There are, I will say, I mean, in terms of abstract strategy, I guess is what this is called. It's not horrible. It is thematic, I guess, and probably could be even more thematic if you're reading the history notes on every single card.
Right.
But I don't know, man. Hidden movement games. Maybe it's just a genre I found like the 3 I love, and it's like,
yeah.
What game is coming out that's superior to any of these? Like, the latest, like, Mind Management doesn't do it for me.
Nope.
Sniper Elite doesn't do it for me. A friend of mine really likes that one, but he's never played, like, a lot of hidden movements, so he plays that one and really likes it. It's like, I got the ones I like, and they're just... I mean, you can't really compare this to Fury of Dracula or anything like that, but it's like, in terms of hidden movement, which is what this game is.
I mean, I'm trying... Yeah, because, I mean, I think I have 2. I'm trying to think if I have a third one. And they're good.
Yeah.
And really, there's one that I feel is superior. Like, there's one that I always play. And then, like, Fury, I'll play it.
Yeah.
But it's long enough that I have to be in the mood to designate 2.5 hours of playtime
right,
for
2.5 hours? Man, that's quick.
Oh, really?
It's usually 3. I have a bare minimum of 3 for that game.
2.5 is, I think, our bare minimum. It's pretty constant that either...
I guess I've always played it with 4 as well.
So we... yeah, we'll play it with 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty good at keeping people going.
That's
like,
true.
I don't want people sitting
I don't
down
want people
waiting.
talking
Well,
to each other.
It's more... Like, people will talk for a long time, and it's like, okay, you're talking 5 turns.
That's true.
It's going to change. Just play now.
That is true. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know Engin Kunter. Matthias Kramer is a name that I do recognize, but I am totally drawing a blank on what he's on what he's designed. Damn it! Oh, it's M-A-T-T. Matthias Kramer. Yeah, he does. I knew it. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's there. He designed Watergate. Which makes sense, because this is very close to Watergate.
Yeah.
So probably the other guy tainted it. I get it. You don't want to make another game that's exactly like Watergate, but
Right.
So if you want, basically, if you're deciding between the two, because they're very identical in like the two separate decks and stuff. If you want randomness in your game, get this. If you don't want randomness in your game, get Watergate.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give the Hunt?
6.
6. That's also where I'm at. Funny enough, I do think it's slightly above average.
Yeah. It wasn't unplayable.
No, it's not unplayable. It for the elements that are in the game, like, it does work. It does come down to the wire. It came down to the battle. Yep. This game is kind of like, I mean, I'm not comparing it to Twilight Struggle at all. And Watergate is also like, people are like, oh, it kills Twilight Struggle. No, it doesn't.
No.
The only element of both these games that it compare is the cards in my hand have action points or an event.
Right.
Which one do I want to do? But at least in Twilight Struggle, it's like, man, if I play this card for its action points, that's going to give my opponent the ability.
Right.
And there's just way more going on. However,
huge amounts going on.
Yeah. So, but this game does kind of benefit from knowing what cards your opponent has played, which ones are out of the game.
It's smaller. Like Twilight Struggle is massively.
Yeah. There's, 3 eras or something?
3 eras.
3 periods.
Like, you're not playing that for less than 2.5 hours.
Oh, God, I know. But also knowing, like, okay, if you can memorize the AP value, especially as a German player, you can be like, okay, he's used a lot of his high-value cards. Play this card.
If you can count cards,
if you can count,
halfway decent.
If you are reserved with your high value, then you can come out on top on combat.
Yeah, there's definitely, and that's why I'm giving it a 6. It's not terrible. It's just not a game that I want to play very often.
I'm not keeping it. Like, at the end of the day is really where it comes down. Like, because it is so close to Watergate, I'd rather just play that.
Right.
So, well, that's it, everyone. That's our thoughts on the Hunt. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.